I think it will be detrimental to humanity. Vegan and vegetarian is not the best way to go about your health. It's the same thing that happens with us as human beings, with the government. It's a slow cook, slow roast, ensuring that you don't know what's coming next. Next thing you know, they're dead. Sir, what is up? Poppin', Topo Chico. What are you guys? What's going on today? Welcome to episode number 2 of the Rift Podcast. We're here talking, chilling. I had a few things come up in the past. What has it been? 3 days or so since our last podcast? Yeah, so today's Monday. We recorded the last one on Friday. Once again, we're going every Monday and Friday with these podcasts, just trying to get you value in between those Wednesdays, because I post on every Wednesday, but as well hitting Monday and Friday for you guys with the Rift Podcast. So if you guys enjoyed, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, let's get into it. What were we talking about? Vegans. Okay, vegans. Okay. We had an issue. All right, the other night we had an issue, and you see, when it comes to vegans and vegetarians, really, I'm not gonna say
beef.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's beef necessarily, because I try to give love. Okay, I try to give love and help people. I just think there's ignorance. Okay, I think there's ignorance for a lot of people, and there's nothing against ignorance, right? Just like a baby is ignorant to many ideas, they just have to learn. They just have to evolve and grow and get all the information. That's why I do this podcast, right? To give as much information as I can to people, because I want them to learn and understand like the intricacies. Want them to understand the English. Is that it?
I'm not sure what word you're looking for there, to be honest with you.
Intricacies. That's it. I just want them to understand the whole variety and the whole messaging of everything that goes into dieting, to eating right, to basically just trying to live your lifestyle in a healthier manner, okay? And people go on these diet fads of vegan, vegetarian, keto, carnivore. There's all these different ones, but really just living your life is the best way that I think you need to go about it. But if you're going to choose a certain diet to go on, please, by all means, do not be vegan, okay? We were talking about it the other day, and we found there was this family, okay? They had, I don't know if they had a party going on or something, but they were loading pizza boxes into their car, okay? Well, they're obviously oversized people, okay? If they're loading big boxes of pizza, they're going to be oversized people, because who eats that much pizza if you're not oversized, right? I don't, personally, and I know a bunch of other people who don't, and they're undersized. Usually the bigger people are oversized, okay? Anyways, I put on my story, and it probably wasn't the best, but I put, they're likely vegans going out because vegans can eat pizza. No, vegetarians can eat pizza, right?
Yeah, vegans can't have cheese or anything dairy because it's
dairy, because it's animal product.
Vegetarians are just no meat.
Vegetarians, no meat, exactly. So it's probably cheese pizza, right? The vegetarian, they're healthy. But the thing is, it's obvious that pizza is not healthy for you. And so the fact that as a vegetarian, you can claim to be healthy, but still eat Doritos, still eat cheese pizza. Granted, there's no pepperonis on it, but it's still cheese pizza. You can eat bread. You can consume all these different topics. Heck, I guess as a vegetarian, you can eat any dairy. You can drink any of the milk. You can but you can't eat protein. So you can't eat anything to get you lean muscle tissue to put on size to help your metabolism improve. Instead, you can eat all the things. Heck, you can drink a whole gallon of any kind of seed oils. It doesn't matter. Whereas if you're eating a holistic diet and something where you want to limit processed foods, that is instead deemed not safe or not healthy, right?
I think a lot of the vegetarians, though, aren't necessarily doing it for their health, but I'm sure partially it's for their health, but I'm sure a lot of it's for the wellness of the animals, that they don't want being hurt.
Okay, and with that, there's some, I guess that could be a thing, okay? Because what I see, I guess, because since I'm in the fitness industry, I see vegan and vegetarian as healthy, right? I think most people think that. I think maybe they start with the health of animals or to help save animals, but then they realize there's also they think there's benefits as well that have to do with consumption of food, right? That have to do with health purposes. And I just want everyone to know that there are many studies, many different forms of education that show that vegan and vegetarian is not the best way to go about your health, okay? Like if you want to restrict your diet in any sort of way, restrict it from processed foods, restrict it from the Doritos, restrict it from the pizza, the things that are created and dehydrated in a factory, in a lab. That's what you need to restrict yourself from. Go for a holistic diet. If you are going to limit, I'd say don't limit anything. I think that's the healthiest option, is just don't limit as much as possible, because we're all human. Like, I love Snickers. It was a Snickers grown on a tree outside? No. But I'm still going to eat it because I'm still human, and like there's satisfaction from eating that. But I'm going to limit it as much as possible, not completely cut it out. And I think vegan and vegetarian, I mean, how many of them actually live their whole life vegan and vegetarian?
Not many.
Not many.
I feel like people start it and go for an extended period amount of time and then kind of fall out of it. Which I'm sure some people are lifetime, but not lifetime when they're little, I'm sure. But I'm sure a lot of people, once they commit to it, they stick to it. But
you think? Dude,
I think there's a few amount, but I bet it's a very small number.
Very few. And I think those few people would be the ones who don't have access to meat, right? Like they're living in the rainforest in Brazil or something. They don't have any. Like if they go out in the jungle, a jaguar is going to eat them. Like, okay, I understand that. Maybe just eat potatoes. Okay, just stick with your potatoes, stick with your carrots. You can be vegan for that if you don't get eaten by a jaguar. But if you're living in the West or any of the United States and any of the UKs or anything where there's civilization and you can go to a grocery store and pick up your food, make sure to implement some sort of holistic plan in that, okay? Whole foods, best way to go about it. Cut out as much processed foods as you can, but don't completely cut them out, just limit them, all right? And once again, I know you talked about how it's to help people or to kind of cope with the fact that animal abuse is a thing, and it is. I think that factory farming is detrimental to. I think it will be detrimental to humanity in the end. Really, that approach never goes well for anything. I mean, caging animals up, like that's cruelty. I'm a hunter, and I go out and I take animals off the land, but that's due to factors that overpopulation, because there's not enough hunters and there's not enough predators that are actually taking these animals, because there's so much human interaction that allows for these populations of deer, of any sort of grazing animal to overproduce, right? Hawaii is a perfect instance of that, where the axis in Hawaii have absolutely no predators other than humans. So there's thousands and thousands and thousands of axis deer that have overrun this land and now are endangering the other populations that are native to the Hawaii. I think it's Lanai, the island of Lanai. All the other species that are on that island of Lanai, the native ones, are now being endangered because there's an overpopulation of axis deer. So you need hunters to come in and regulate that population. And so that, if you took all of that meat and you had that mindset of animal cruelty, what about plant cruelty? Like the plant, if an animal has a mindset or a mind, and it's a species that can think for itself, does a plant not?
I think a lot of people just don't think about, I think a lot of vegetarians and vegans will see a video of people killing wild hogs and get upset about it. Like, you have to kill wild hogs, especially here in Texas. Like, they'll take over your land and mess stuff up.
That's what it is, overpopulation. Like, if there's an abundance of animals that will endanger or destroy the land itself, the native land, then you need to regulate that. Like that, I think that's what us as humans do. I think if we were completely cut out and wiped off of Earth would probably be better. You're right, but what kind of life is that with no humanity?
Yeah.
Then then we're not here, and then nothing matters, right? So long as we're here, I think regulating populations is important with animals. And I think looking at it from a point of harming animals, I think is honestly something that is urbanization has caused, and the ruralization where you're growing up in farms, you understand that that's just a way of life, right? Just like you and me and all of us, we're going to die eventually. Animals are going to die eventually. And so it's better for them to die and then be consumed by the world and other things than to die and rot and nothing happen.
Well, how they go in nature is usually a lot more brutal than how they go out by getting shot. Like,
Exactly.
you ever
Yeah.
seen those nature videos?
What is that Instagram account? Is it Nature Cruelty or something?
Probably.
Or whatever. There's some Instagram account. Maybe we could pop it up over here. Whatever, nature something, cruelty. I know Cameron Haynes, he posts about it a lot. But I mean, you're right. Nature is cruel, dude. I mean, there's some stuff there. And heck, I've seen it for myself. Did I tell you in Cape Town what happened?
I don't think, you might have told me, but.
Oh, shoot, dude. Okay, so we were in Cape Town, right? Cape Town, South Africa. We go out, there's penguins down there, okay? So I think it's penguins in Antarctica, and there's one species that goes up into South Africa, because South Africa is the tip point, like closest to Antarctica. And so there's the penguins, I don't know if they swam up or somehow they got into South Africa. And there you can go and you can see native penguins, natural habitat, all that stuff. So we go, we want to see the penguins. I'm with this girl, she's all excited and everything. We end up taking an Uber up there. When we get out, we start walking around. Boom, there's like 3 or 4 penguins out there. She's freaking out. She's like, oh my gosh, look, there's penguins. We go, kind of taking my time walking down. All of a sudden, we see this group. There's like 3 or 4 people that are like screaming and like pointing out in the water. Well, they go over, and the girl that I'm with, she's like, JJ, come with me. Like, look what they're looking at. I like walk over there, look over. A sea otter grabs this penguin from the water. I swear, rips him out, has him by his wing, and is dragging him across the beach. Okay, like just ruthlessly. Got him in his mouth. The penguin's flipping out, screaming, all this stuff. All the people are like, save the penguin, all this stuff. But they don't want to, you don't want to mess with nature. You don't want to fight them because this is natural. This is what's happening. And this sea otter, which I didn't even know sea otters are in South Africa. Apparently they are. He's got him. He's just running on the beach with this penguin. All the penguin buddies are just sitting there chilling. I mean, they're just watching their buddy get mauled. Turns out, guy runs across. He's fighting. He ends up like kind of getting away, but he's wounded. So the otter goes back, grabs him, takes him across the rocks. Never seen the penguin again. After that, it was done. Just the way it goes. I'm sitting there like, well, like I said, I'm a hunter, so I know things happen. I grew up in a rural area. I know how nature works. Girl that I was with, not the same way. She's like bawling, crying. I'm like, I mean, that's life. That's the way it goes. There's not much you can change there. And so, and not really a moral of the story to that. It's just that, hey, that's life, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'd rather get shot than get dragged across the beach by a sea otter if I could pick my going out.
For real, man. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. But speaking of, I guess, saving the world and all that sort of stuff, did you see Tesla is actually up again today? So I'm a big investor in Tesla stock. Tesla is electric vehicle stock. I'm sure a lot of you know Elon Musk, but I'm a big investor in them because I believe in EVs in the future, but not for the reason of the belief that EVs are the best thing for our future. I'm for the proponent of making money when it comes to stocks and investing. And with electric vehicles or EVs, I think that inevitably the government is going to make all of us have EVs or some sort of implement EVs into our world for the cope or behind climate change, right? Because it's not global warming anymore, it's climate change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the reason why I'm thinking this and why it's my belief, and one of the reasons why I believe climate change is so promoted by the government is due to this push for EVs. Okay, so what EVs do is they allow for technology to control the vehicle itself, right? So if you've ever looked into Teslas, what they have is a computer system that runs the battery, it runs the vehicle itself. And so they're implementing automation into those, they're basically computers with wheels, right? These cars, electric vehicles, that allow them to go out and start driving alone, right? And so with that, the EVs are being controlled, okay, essentially. They can send out updates and control these electric vehicles while they're driving. Well, what I think is in the future, the government is going to regulate that. So for instance, if you're going over the speed limit, hey, let's just cut back that limit a little bit. You know, I see you're going 68 miles an hour in a 60. We're just going to start reducing your speed to 63, right? Just slightly, not much. And over time, your control and your freedoms to do what you please is going to be reduced. And I don't think it's going to be overnight. You know, the best way for a government to implement control is through crisis. And I think in the future, those EVs, I think, are going to be inevitable because of control, or governmental control. And there's going to be some sort of something that happens that allows for that control.
I think it's climate change. I think climate change is the crisis.
Maybe it is, but there's got to be a global crisis that scares people, because like you and me, we don't care about climate change. Just like the C-19, that one came in, it made sure that, hey, now we can, what they try to send out the, it was when you're in proximity to someone who tested positive for C-19, then you would be alerted, right?
Which I don't think it matters if we care about that. I think because, I mean, if they control the media, does it matter if we care about it? Because
does it matter if we care? What do you mean?
Like, say I didn't care about C-19, but it didn't matter because the media pushed it so much that everyone thought everyone cared about it. So they still got to push whatever agenda they wanted to. Same with climate change. If we don't care about it, but the media says, like, if we don't fix this now, we're in a lot of trouble.
So me and you, right? Me and you didn't care about C-19, but there were many people that did, and they still do now. Heck, it's 2023. We're in May 2023, and people are still wearing masks. It's like, I mean, come on, guys. Like, have we figured this out, that this is kind of like...
But that's what I'm saying with climate. I think enough people care about climate change that they can push that and it'll work. I mean, if you don't pay your taxes, they're going to shut your vehicle off. You can't go anywhere. Like,
and I think it's a slow process. It's like a frog being boiled, okay? If you ever try to boil a frog, once again, I haven't, okay? I have grew up from the city, or out of the city in a rural area, but never try to boil a frog. But if you do, it's a slow cook, okay? You don't throw them into a hot boiling pot of water because they're going to jump right out. You turn it on cold, you throw them in, they're going to be chilling, swimming around. You just slowly crank the heat up. Little by little, they're going to chill. It starts getting a little bit hotter, but then they regulate. It starts getting a little bit hotter. Next thing you know, they're dead. They're done. Toast. And then you cook them, and you're good. It's the same thing that happens with us as human beings, with the government. It's a slow cook, a slow roast, ensuring that you don't know what's coming next. And with that, I think we're going to wrap up this podcast because it hasn't really I know we kind of got off a tangent there, and it's not trying not to be as negative as possible, or as negative. Really, we should probably lighten it up a bit, and we're working towards that. But guys, this is just some topics that I just want to get out there because like I said, I don't like ignorance. I don't like people not knowing, okay? If it's there, if it's some sort of opinion that maybe not be promoted, like going against climate change, I don't think is promoted much. Or even maybe it's more and more, I think, coming about. Same with going against veganism or vegetarian. It's just my point of view, so take it with a grain of salt. What do I know? Not much. What does Parker know? Not much. And so, guys, just take it with a grain of salt. I'm just here to voice my opinion. If you guys liked it, be sure to subscribe. Go ahead and leave a comment. Heck, if you were a vegan or you're vegetarian, contradict my opinion. Give me something else that I could go against, because if you got a better opinion, you got something that lets me know, then I would love to hear it. So leave a comment below, subscribe if you like it. And guys, that's going to be it for episode 2 of The Rift. Have a good one.